example. You're going to be confronted with things that are going to push you to the moment of sin. And what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to... And each one of those is a very different, unique situation that I think has to be coupled with prayer. And in that relationship with the Lord, walking day in and day out. But I would say most definitely, while we're here, I'll go through that conflict resolution with you. And you've got to go look through that, look at perseverance, and then looking at fleeing. Those are if it's going to cause you to sin in that moment of sin. Any other questions?
Any other questions? I appreciate you sharing that with us.
I just got one more story. I promise I'll be done. A while back, like where I began to realize that I was missing the boat on, I meant to tell you this story before, was during that first deployment. And what kind of broke me out of my melancholiness, it was Christmas of 2005. It was the one day that we were promised that we wouldn't have to go out on patrol because it was Christmas Day. And we were ecstatic because it's like, we went and got like 10, we call them Haji movies. They're bootleg movies that they sell over there. and like it's like Iron Man in French. And somebody's in a theater like recording. And so we went and got like 10 different like movies, and we had a Proxima or projector hooked up to a computer, and we bought we had people send us like buckets of popcorn. I had my mom send me like a Velveeta block with some paste honey sauce, and we were going to go all out. It was like, this is the day that we're not going on patrol. We're going to stuff ourselves with like American goodness and enjoy some movies. And we had like Iron Man and I don't know, all kinds of like guy movies and that we bought at the Haji place. And so we're so like stoked. And we even got to sleep in that morning. I mean, we were sleeping until like 10 o'clock. We got up and we're like all walking around in our PTs, our physical training. It's just shorts and a t-shirt. And yeah. And it never fails. Like, Colonel comes around the corner and he's like, he used to irritate me. He's like, mount up. And it's like, whoa. And it's like, sir, come on. Like, this is our day off. This is the one day we were getting off. And he's like, yeah, the Rockies don't, they don't, it's not a holiday for them. We got to get going. And we're just furious. And so, we're getting our kit on, and getting our vests, and getting our weapons loaded up. And so I walk outside to make sure the vehicle's started and that all the systems are running, the radio systems and stuff. And I walk around the corner, and there's we had porta-johns, the porta-potties. That's what we used over there. There was nothing else. There was no sewer system, so we used porta-johns. Well, they come in and they service those every other day. Well, they were there that day. They're servicing it, but it was a different truck. And you begin to notice things like that. You pay attention to a lot of detail. And, and it's like, well, this truck is a different model. You notice immediately. Same color scheme. It's like, hey, this is a different model truck. And you're like, and you look, and it's got plates on it, but this is a completely different truck. And this other truck had been coming at this point, for 6 months. And so you're like, okay, so you walk around the corner, and it's a different guy, that's servicing our porta-johns. And, nobody else is outside yet. I'm the first one outside, getting the vehicles ready to go. And we weren't allowed to walk around because we lived on the Iraqi side of the post. So we always had to have a weapon on us at 20%. So I had a 9mm strapped to my leg. And, I unfasten it. And cause you learn to be very cautious about this stuff. Because what the insurgents would do is they would take similar trucks and they would drive them up to the gate. And sometimes they'd get inside and the truck would be just packed with explosives. It was just, like, they'd fill the whole truck up with basically urethra? Yeah, the fertilizer. and mix it with some other stuff and make a type of plastique. And so I look over and I see this guy, and he's like, Merry Christmas. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like getting ready to draw, because I'm like, all right, this is not right. And he's like, oh no, mister, wait. And he runs to his truck, and I at this point, like, it's unholstered and it's coming out. Like I'm just holding it here, because I'm thinking he's going to get his AK. And he opens the door and he pulls out this Bible that is the most tattered Bible I'd ever seen in my life. And he holds it up, and it's in Arabic. But it was the first, you could tell it said Holy Bible, and then it had the Arabic Holy Bible, and then it had, I can't remember who the publisher was. He showed it to me. He's like, I Christian. And I was just like, I was blown away. And this is the first Arab Christian I had ever met. And we had like maybe 10 minutes before we had to get going. I didn't have a lot of time to spend with him. But here's a guy who doesn't have access to the media that we do, the Christian media of great theological speakers and the streaming video or streaming stuff and all the stuff you get on CD. Here's a guy that, in all honesty, was probably far more mature than I could ever reach, and I was blown away by that. In those 10 minutes, I saw a man that truly loved the Lord and pursued Him with all his heart. And that I could see it in his eyes and his mannerisms and everything that he was. That here's a man that has nothing more than his Bible. And was probably, at that point in his life, was probably more mature than I will be if I lived to be 90 years old. And I was rocked by that. Because he had no great theological teachers to teach him. He had no pastor. Well, he just had like it was like a house church that he went to there in Baghdad, in they call it the Christian district. But here's a man, and I was floored by that. And that's when I began to realize I had a lot of misconceptions, and I needed to really, really evaluate myself and what it really means to be a follower of Christ. And that's one of the things I wanted to end this with is take a good look at that. And when we're talking about obedience and Christian obedience, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it because it's sometimes is it a religious system, part of the system, or is it because everybody else is doing it? Like we took communion last night. It was a very good example. Sometimes communion for many people can be systematic. It's just something that we do the 5th Sunday of every month, or for some churches every Sunday, or this, or did you do it out of true fellowship with Christ? I can't answer that for you. Only you can. But those are things that common misconception that broke my mold was that guy. So I'll leave you with that.